making sure that we have stronger front-end processes to ensure that we are keeping families intact whenever possible, and we are only removing when necessary, as well as getting kids out of our foster care system and finding permanency as quickly as possible.
The final thing I'll say, we got to run. I got a daughter, but if you look at the jobs report today throughout for the country, it's like 200,000. I think it was less than 50% of what was forecast. I think there's a reason for that. I mean, I think there's a couple of reasons for it. I mean, one of them, we do have inflationary policies which are harmful to businesses and into individuals, and we're seeing that in family budgets with groceries and gasoline and the whole 9 yards. But you also have an administration, they're trying to impose more restrictions with respect to the COVID, and that is not going to allow us to perform well as a country if they're constantly threatening to restrict people. Fauci would not rule out lockdowns. Biden said no lockdowns for now, what would happen in the future? You can't restrict people. You can't mandate. And as long as they're stuck in that morass, you're going to continue to have economic performance that is going to be subpar. And then contrast that with Florida, where we have been the engine, and we have been pulling way above punching way above our weight because people know you're going to be able to go to work. Your kids are going to be able to go to school. Businesses are going to be able to operate. Everyone knows that, and they know that that's what is going to happen. And so this is lackluster. I hope that you'll see turnaround in the more recent months coming up, but I think that this is a function of some of these policy choices that are being made out of Washington, and those are not working out for the American people. So let's let people make their own decisions. Let's make sure we get as many people back to work as possible, and let's just send the signal that things like lockdowns and all these other things, those should not even be under discussion. They have not worked. The restrictions have not worked. If you look right now, and I predicted this summer when everyone was criticizing the South and Florida, we have a different seasonal pattern. We have summer, they have north. What's happening now in the north in places like Michigan and Maine and New England? They have pandemic records for hospitalizations with heavy restrictions and all these other things. So it doesn't work, and you empower people to make choices. I was happy to actually hear the White House talk about monoclonal antibodies, which we did in the state of Florida and had huge success keeping people out of the hospital. If we had monoclonal antibodies on the front burner in this country from the beginning of 2021, it would have saved probably 100,000 lives. There's people in other states, they don't even know about them. They don't know how to get them. In Florida, we really changed that, and I can tell you, because people have written into our office, there are people who didn't know about them, but then saw me talking about it, and word gets out outside of the state, and then they started asking, and they got the monoclonals, and it ended up making them much better. So we know that those work. We know that it's something that needs to be kind of the standard of care. If somebody is high risk and they're infected, and oh yes, like I've said from the beginning, or certainly from the summer, people are getting infected who have been fully vaccinated. That's just the reality. And so most of the people that get monoclonals in Florida are fully vaccinated. Probably 2/3 of them are fully vaccinated. So regardless of that status, if you are high risk, this should just be the standard thing that you do if you do get infected. And so if that was the approach, then I think you'd see a lot more confidence. But when the market was rattled with when the press was talking about that a lot, it wasn't because that they were worried about Omicron. They're worried about governments doing destructive things in response to Omicron. That is what shook and rattled the markets. That is what people were concerned about, the destruction that happens with these heavy-handed failed policies that we've seen over and over again, and that people like Fauci will continue to parrot and will never admit that they have been ineffective. So we're going to hold the fort here in Florida, but man, we could be putting a lot more people back to work nationally. But you got to empower people, and you got to protect their rights to make their own decisions. Thank you very much.